Hey everyone, it's Jessica Edwards in Wilmington, North Carolina. Today I want to talk about questions you should ask when buying a home. And we get asked all kinds of questions all the time from our buyers, but there are a few questions that we hear over and over and over and feel like are very pertinent to every buyer that you should ask when buying a home. The first one is, how much home can I afford? And this may sound like a really obvious question, like, duh, Jessica, I'm buying a home, I need to know how much I can afford. But what a lot of people get caught up on is the purchase price. And what I want you to always remember is that when you're buying a house, you don't live with that purchase price, you live with the monthly payment. So it is absolutely critical that before you start searching online and doing all this stuff, even if you're a year out or whatever, and interest rates can change, and we all know that that can change things, but talk to a lender, really know your numbers and know what that monthly payment looks like, because that's going to direct the price point that you're searching for online. The second question is, how many homes should I see? We hear this a lot, and people get worried that they're seeing too many houses or not enough houses. And I think that that's a really personal preference. Years ago, even when I first started in real estate, people looked at a lot more houses. They physically went to see a lot more houses just because there wasn't as much information available online. You couldn't see as much online. And now with the internet and video and just all these different sources, you're able to see a lot more, drive by the property. And a lot of times, we have clients that maybe only look at, 2, 3, 4 houses and make a decision because they've done so much research online, and then they've driven by the house and narrowed it down that way. So I don't think that there's any one magic number. It's really personal preference. What do you think the seller will take off the price? The third question we hear all the time, how much will the seller take? What do you think the seller will take? What's realistic? Well, I always say a good rule of thumb is that 5% off the list price probably won't offend someone, but you really need to look at the comps and look at the market that you're in. So in Wilmington, North Carolina, for instance, where we are, it's not, our averages for list to sales price ratios hover in the 90s. And so, it's not realistic to expect that across the board you're going to be able to get 10% off the list price, or maybe even 5%. So it really depends on your market price, and it depends on the property itself and where it comps out. But, I would say rule of thumb would be, 5%, making an offer at 5% off the purchase price probably isn't going to offend the seller too much. And then the second question that comes with that is typically, am I getting a good deal? Everybody wants to get a good deal. And of course, again, that is very personal. So it depends on what your goals are. And if your goals are, long-term, or your goals are to get in a specific neighborhood, if your goals are to be able to sell your house in a couple years, if you're, there's all different goals. And so I think that getting a good value or getting a good deal, obviously, one, you want to work with your real estate agent to know the numbers and know the comps and know where the house plays out that way. But I do think that all comes down to personal and what your goals are and all of that, family situations and different things. And I think that that's also a personal question. How long does it take to close? We hear this all the time, and this varies from state to state, but in North Carolina, where we are, a typical closing is 30 days to 45 days. So when you get under contract, things move very quickly, and a lot of times most people close within 30 or 45 days. And then the last thing is, what if I change my mind? So a lot of buyers ask, well, what happens if I change my mind? Or what happens if the property is falling apart for the home inspection? What happens if I need to get out of this contract? And every state, again, is different, contract to contract. In North Carolina, we have a due diligence period. The buyer can walk during that time for any reason or no reason at all. But, you really need to talk to your real estate agent and find out what your contract and what it is like in your state, and what you lose financially, what the potential penalties are. Can you get sued? These kind of things to get out of that contract. So anyways, these are a handful of questions that we hear all the time from buyers, and they're questions that you should ask when buying a home. So I hope this has been helpful. Please subscribe to our channel. Please comment below if you have any questions. And of course, you can check us out at thecarolinasfinest.com. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.